Hi, everybody. All right. Well, here's the second rendition of the pre-calculus. What we want to do is we want to take a look at the bottom part here, this page. Now, we talk about finding the domain and using interval notation only. There's certain restrictions that take place. So for this guy, you have to be able to do a little bit of what I call in class sight reading. So when I look at letter A, I know that right off the bat that it is a square root function, okay? So since it's a square root function, I know about square roots that they cannot be negative. And so since they cannot be negative, then I need to find out what's the smallest number this can be before it doesn't work, because you're taking the square root of a negative number, you get an imaginary number. And we're doing, we're working in the real number Cartesian plane, so everything has to be a real number. So we take that number, that meat on the inside, the x plus 3, and we set it equal to 0. We find out that x is equal to negative 3. That's the smallest number that you can have before the numbers start getting negative. So what we're looking at is it can be negative 3 or greater. So it can be, I guess we're talking about domain now, so we need to actually use an x. X, it can be greater than or equal to negative 3, and in interval notation, this is going to be from negative 3 to infinity. And that's how I'm going to answer that question. I hope this was helpful. I do want to move on to, I'll say, take a look at letter C. Letter C is a little bit different because you have a numerator and a denominator. So when you have a denominator, we know that we can't divide by 0. So same idea. The top part here says that x, since it's the square root of x, it's got to be x is got to be greater than or equal to 0. But the bottom one here tells me that x minus 5 gives me x equals 5. That means that I have a vertical asymptote at 5. So it's got to be bigger than 0, but it can't be 5. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at from 0 to 5, and then from 5 to infinity. And that's how I would answer that question. The answers are up at the front of the desk, up here. The pretest is up here. The teacher's copy is up here. So all the answers to today's stuff is up here. So when you're working, make sure you come up and take a check, take a look, see how things go for you. Feel free to look over this at any time. Look back, make sure they make sense to you. And then check Edmodo, because the Edmodo site will have some supplemental questions that you can use for homework this evening to help you out, reinforce these ideas. Okay? Thank you so much. I'll spare you if you like this, like it on Facebook and subscribe. Just make sure you watch them. Have a great day. Bye.